River City Junction, River City, next station stop.
You're crazy with the heat. Credit's no good for an ocean salesman.
Board, all aboard.
Why not? What's the matter with the credit?
It's old-fashioned. Charlie, you're an anvil salesman. Your firm give credit?
No, sir.
Nor anybody else.
River City next.
Cash for the merchandise. Cash for the button hooks.
Cash for the cotton goods. Cash for the hard goods.
Cash for the soft goods. Cash for the fancy goods.
Cash for the noggins and the piggins and the firkins.
Cash for the hogshead, cask and demijohn. Cash for the crackers and the pickles and the fly paper.
Look, we talk.
Where do you get it?
We talk.
You can talk, you can bicker, you can talk, you can bicker, you can talk, you can talk, bicker, you can talk all you wanna, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
What the Model T Ford made the trouble, made the people wanna go, wanna get up and go. 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
We talk.
Where do you get it? Not the Model T at all. Take a gander at the store, at the modern store, at the present day store, at the present day modern departmentalized grocery store.
We talk.
Where do you get it?
We talk.
Where do you get it?
You can talk, you can bicker, you can talk, bicker, you can talk all you wanna, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
What you need a biscuit made the trouble. You need to put the crackers in a package. You need a biscuit in an airtight sanitary package. Made the Cracker Barrel obsolete.
Obsolete.
Cracker Barrel went out the window with the mail pouch shut, plug drawn by the stove. Changed the approach of a traveling salesman. Made it pretty hard.
No, it didn't, but you gotta know the territory.
Gone with the hogshead, cask and demijohn. Gone with the sugar barrel, pickle barrel, milk pan. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever met a fellow by the name of Hill?
Hill?
No. Just a minute.
Never heard any salesman. Hill.
Now he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory.
What's the fellow's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or the Cracker Barrel being obsolete, or the you need a biscuit in an airtight sanitary package, or the Model T Ford.
Just a minute.
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang beat bell ringing, big hog break go neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill.
Tell us what's his line.
He's fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, we talk.
He's a music man.
He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums and the big brass bass, and the piccolo, uniforms too, with the shiny gold braid on the coat and the big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Mandolin picks, perhaps, and here and there a Jew's harp.
No, the fellow sells bands, boys' bands. I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king, and he dallies and he gathers and he plucks and he shines, and when the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But he doesn't know the territory.
River City. We're across the state line into Iowa. River City, population 2,212. Cigarettes illegal in this state. Board.
Now, if you're all through, I'll tell you about Harold Hill.
You really know Harold Hill?
Never saw him in my life, but I know this much. He's given every one of us a black eye. After he's worked a town over, the next salesman to arrive gets automatically tarred and feathered and rode out to the city limits on a rail. You think that's funny? Well, wait till it happens to you. Your hair never grows back.
Why should he get rode out of town on a rail?
Because in order to sell band instruments and uniforms and instruction books, he has to guarantee to teach the kids to play.
Well?
And to form them kids into a band, with himself as the leader.
What's wrong with that?
He don't know one note from another, that's what's wrong with that. And he can't tell a bass drum from a pipe organ. I'll catch up with that swindling 2-bit thimble rigger, and when I do, I'll squeal on him so loud.
Wow, you're mad, Charlie. Sure like to be around when you catch up with that fella.
Well, it won't be on this trip, not in Iowa. Even the great Professor Harold Hill wouldn't sell to them neck-bowed Hawkeyes out here.
Board.
Gentlemen, you intrigue me. I think I'll have to give Iowa a try.
Don't believe I caught your name.
Provided you are contrary.
Good morning, Marian.
Morning, Marian.
It is, if you want to go around in your drawers all day.
So there I was up in Madison Hospital and nobody come to see me. Cousin Will never come, Aunt Bertha never come.
Your Aunt Bertha's dead.
She wouldn't have come anyways.
We can be cold as our falling thermometers in December if you ask about our weather in July. And we're so by gosh stubborn we can stand touching noses for a week at a time and never see eye to eye. But we'll give you our shirts and a back to go with it. If your girl should happen to die. So what the heck? You're welcome. Glad to have you with us, even though we may not ever mention it again. You really ought to give Iowa, Hawkeye, Iowa, Dubuque, Des Moines, Davenport, Marshalltown, Mississippi, Euclid, Ames, Clear Lake. Ought to give Iowa a try.
Mr. Squires, yes, I'm interested in a rig for Sunday, if you could accommodate me.
Then I expect you find the man in charge of hiring rigs, who is late as usual.
Hey, Gregory!
Marcellus!
You old son of a what?
Craig. Professor Hill's the name. Harold Hill.
But Greg, what are you doing here? Why didn't you let me know you was coming?
I didn't know I was myself. Besides, how was I supposed to know you'd end up in a little tank town like this? You were a pretty big slicker when you were in business with me.
Too many close shaves the way you work. Besides, I got me a nice, comfortable girl. Ethel Toffelmeyer, boss's niece.
Gone legitimate, huh? I knew you'd come to no good.
So what's the new pitch? You're not back in the band business. I heard you was in steam automobiles?
I was.
What happened?
Somebody actually invented one.
No.
Now, give me the lowdown here, Mars.
Well, you'll never get anywhere in the band business with these stubborn irons, Greg. Besides, we got a stuck-up music teacher here who will expose you before you get your grip unpacked.
Male or female?
Music teacher? She's the librarian, female.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. If she passes by, point her out to me.
I will. So how are you going to start the new pitch?
Well, same old way. Keep that music teacher off balance. Then my next step will be to get your city out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City isn't any trouble.
Well, then I'll have to create some. I have to make a desperate need for a boys' band. You remember. So what's new around here? What can I use?
Nothing. Except the billiard hall just got a new pool table.
They never had a pool table before?
Nope, only billiards.
That'll do. See you later, Mars. And don't forget, music teacher.
Music teacher.
You're Mr. Dunlop.
Yep.
Either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player, certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with the cue in my hand are golden. Help you cultivate horse sense, and a cool head, and a keen eye. Did you ever take and try to give an ironclad leap to yourself with a 3-rail billiard shot? But just as I say, it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a ball-blind game. I say that any fool can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth, the first big step on the road to depths of degradee. I say first it's a little medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. Listening to some big out-of-town Jasper, hearing him tell about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trotting race, no, but a race where they set down right on a horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch, make your blood boil, well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in a table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. And all week long, your River City youth will be frittering away. Your young men will be frittering away. Their noontime, supper time, chore time too. Get the ball in the pocket, never mind getting dandelions pulled to the screen door patched to the beefsteak pounded. Never mind pumping any water till your parents are caught with a cistern empty on a Saturday night. And that's trouble. Oh yes, you got lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in the knickerbocker shirt tail young ones peeking in the pool hall window after school. You got trouble. Folks right here in River City. Trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while they're loafing around that hall? They'll be trying out Bevo, trying out Cubits, trying out tailor-mades like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're gonna cover up a telltale breath with sense. And one fine night, they leave the pool hall, heading for the dance of the ornery, libertine men and scarlet women and ragtime. Shameless music that'll grab your son and your daughter with the arms of a jungle animal instinct mass hysteria. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's play. About trouble, right here in River City, with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. We've surely got trouble, right here in River City.
Right here.
Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Our children's gonna have trouble.
Mothers of River City, heed this warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. The minute your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger? A dime novel hidden in the corn crib? Is he starting to memorize jokes out of Captain Billy's whiz-bang? Are certain words creeping into his conversations? Words like swell and so's your old man. Well, if so, my friends, you got trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We've surely got trouble.
We've surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Remember the Maine, Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule.
Our children's gonna have trouble.
Oh yes, he got trouble. We're in terrible, terrible trouble. That game with the 15-number balls is devil's tool.
Devil's tool.
Oh yes, he got trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh yes, we got trouble here. We got big, big trouble.
With a T.
With a capital T.
Gotta rhyme it with P.
Gotta rhyme with P.
And that stands for pool.
That stands for pool. Trouble, trouble, right here in River City with a capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Stands for pool, we surely got trouble, trouble. Right here in River City, right here, gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Did you drop your...
No.
Didn't I see you in...
No.
I'll only be in town a short while.
Good.
It's you, daughter.
Yes, Mama. Keep on, Amaryllis. I'll be there in a minute. Dear, now your exercises.
I don't remember the library being open last 4th of July.
It was, Mama, all evening. Oh, Mama, a man with a suitcase has been following me all over town.
Oh? Who?
I never saw him before.
Did he say anything?
He tried.
Did you say anything?
Mama, of course not. Now don't dawdle, Amaryllis. So, do, la, re, ti, mi, a little slower, and please keep the fingers curved as nice and high as you possibly can. Don't get faster, dear.
If you don't mind me saying so, it wouldn't have hurt you to find out what the gentleman wanted.
I know what the gentleman wanted.
What, dear?
You'll find it in Balzac.
Excuse me for living, but I never read it.
Neither has anyone else in this town.
There you go again with that same old comment about the low mentality of River City people and taking it all too much to heart.
Now, Mama, as long as the Madison Public Library was entrusted to me for the purpose of improving River City's cultural level, I can't help my concern that the ladies of River City keep ignoring all my counsel and advice.
But darling, when a woman has a husband and you've got none, why should she take advice from you? Even if you can quote Balzac and Shakespeare and all them other highfalutin Greeks.
Mama, if you don't mind me saying so, you have a bad habit of changing every subject.
No, I haven't changed the subject. I was talking about that stranger.
What stranger?
With the suitcase who may be your very last chance.
Mama, do you think that I allow a common masher? Now really, Mama, I have my standards where men are concerned, and I have no intention.
I know all about your standards, and if you don't mind me saying so, there's not a man alive who can hope to measure up to that blend of Paul Bunyan, St. Patton, or Webster. You concocted for yourself of your harsh imagination, your with stubbornness in your library full of books.
Well, if that isn't the best I've ever heard.
Thank you. Can I have a drink, please?
May I have...
May I have a drink, please?
Yes, dear.
Winthrop, it's after dark. Is that any way to walk into the house? That won't do at all. I'll have a kiss for me, boy. That lady over there is your sister, young man.
Hello, Winthrop.
Winthrop, where's your manners?
I'm having a party on Saturday. I'd especially like it if you would come. Winthrop?
Amaryllis invited you to her party. Are you going or aren't you?
No.
No, what?
No, thank you.
You know the little girl's name.
He won't say Amaryllis because of the S, because of his lisp. He's ashamed.
We all know about his lisp, Amaryllis. Well, Winthrop?
I bet he won't say it.
No, thank you, Amaryllis.
Amaryllis, Amaryllis. He's crying. Why does he get so mad at people? Just because of his lisp?
It's not only because of his lisp, Amaryllis. That's just part of it.
What's the other part?
Never mind, dear. It's just that he never talks very much.
Not even to you and your mother?
No, we all have to be a little patient.
I'm patient. Even though he doesn't ever talk to me, I do him every night. I say goodnight to him on the evening star. You have to do it the very second you see it, or it doesn't count. Good night, my Winthrop. Good night. Sleep tight.
Oh, there, darling, don't cry. You have lots of time. If not Winthrop, there'll be someone else.
Never. I'll end up an old maid like you. I'm sorry, Miss Marian. Can I play my crosshand piece?
May I
play my crosshand piece?
Yes, dear.
You see, without a sweetheart, you have no one to say goodnight to on the evening star.
I know, Amaryllis. For the time being, just say goodnight, my someone. You can put the name in when the right someone comes along.
All right, it's better than nothing.
Yes, it is. Now you can play your crosshand piece.
Now I may play my crosshand piece.
Who
I'm sure we're all grateful to my wife, Eulalie McKechnie Shin, for leading the singing. And to J.C. Squires for his fine stereotypicon slides. And Ethel Toffelmeyer, our fine piano player. As Mayor of River City, I welcome you River Cityzians to the 4th of July exercises set up for the indoors here in Madison Gymnasium. Counter the weather. Fourscore. The members of the school board will now present a patriotic tableau. The members of the school board will not present a patriotic tableau. Some disagreement about costumes, I suppose. Instead, the Watanyi girls of the local wigwam of Hiawatha will present a spectacle, My Wife, in which my wife, Eulalie McKechnie Shin, will take a leading part.
Who set off that cracker?
I know who did it! Tommy Giles did it! Tommy Giles did it!
Yes, it was Tommy Giles.
Tommy Giles, I wouldn't move if I was you.
Mrs. Shin will recover. No thanks to a certain young ruffian who is a disgrace to our city. 77. The Payne's fireworks spectacle, last days of Pompeii, will take place, providing the rain stops by 9:30. It'll be out to Madison Picnic Park in the far meadow, across the creek from the pest house.
How can it be raining? Didn't the Gazette predict fair?
Well, it sure did, Ewart. That's why we all prepared for a storm.
The Gazette's accurate most of the time, and you know it, JC.
You wouldn't last very long in the banking business being accurate most of the time.
No, you know
Now,
who wouldn't
just
last
a
long in the banking
minute. Let's
business.
have order here. Order.
Number 8's late again tonight.
I make her early.
She's late, all right. She's right on time. What's the matter with your watch?
What's the matter
Will
with
you
your
members of
watch?
the school board stop picking
All
in public?
What I said was...
Never mind. 4
We heard there's a pool table in town.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Now just a minute.
Is it a pool table or isn't it?
Will you allow me to get on with the exercises?
We don't want any more exercises until we get the pool table matters settled.
Let's protect our children.
Yeah.
Resist sin and corruption.
Yeah.
Smite that devil and keep our young boys pure.
Yeah.
Friends, may I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with this troubled friends with a wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize the River City Boys Band. Oh, think, my friends, how can any pool table ever hope to compete with the gold trombone? Ra-ra-ra-da-da-da-da-ra-ra. Remember, my friends, what a handful of trumpet players did to the famous fable walls of Jericho. Oh, billiard parlor walls come a-tumbling down. Oh, a band will do it, my friends. Oh, yes, I mean a boys' band. Do you hear me? I said River City's gotta have a boys' band, and I mean she needs it today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand, and River City's gonna have her boys' band. As sure as the Lord made little green apples, and that band's gonna be in uniform. Asher, Gracie, Ryan, Rosie. And you'll see the glitter of crashing cymbals, the thunder of rolling drums, the shimmer of trumpets. Tun-ta-da! And you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill I once enjoyed. When Gilmore, Liberati, Pat Conway, the great Creator, and W.C. Handy all came to town on that very same historic day. 76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun, with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottomed timpani and horse platoons, thundering, thundering all along the way. Double bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having his big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a full octave higher than the score.
While 110 cornets blazed away. To the rhythm of march, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today. Trombones hit their counterpoint, while 110 cornets blazed away. To the rhythm of march, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today.
Ben, this calls for emergency action. That man is a spellbinder. I haven't seen Iowa people get so excited since the night Frank Gutch and Strangler Lewis lay on a mat for 3.5 hours without moving a muscle. Never mind, I want his credentials. He grabbed that hoodlum. He almost blew up Mrs. Shin.
Thank you, Professor. Have to make an example of him. Ringleader, you know. What he does, the gang does.
Geely, Klein, let me go.
You wild kid, ya, hanging around my oldest girl. His father's one of them day laborers just south of town. You wild kid, ya. Taking after my oldest girl last Sunday.
We were just walking together. Geely, Klein.
You watch your phraseology. I know what you was doing, my little Gracie Senior. Now you stay away from my oldest girl, or you'll hear from me till who laid the rails. Hill, I'll talk to you Monday morning about this band thing. Over at City Hall, 10 o'clock sharp. Men, I want that spellbinder's credentials.
Oh, Constable, I'll be responsible for the boy. Tommy, I'd like to talk to you about the band.
Oh, gee, Professor, that's for the little kids.
Oh, I'm not talking about you being in the band. You're mechanically minded, aren't you? Ever done anything with perpetual motion?
I nearly had it a couple times.
You did? You're my man. Do you realize nobody has ever invented a music holder for marching piccolo player? No place to hang the music.
Geely, Clyde, wonder where I could get me some wire.
Look in your cellar. That's where people keep wire. Oh, Tommy.
Yes, sir?
Now, Constable, I'll show you how to break up a gang. Oh, young lady. Oh, miss. What's your name?
Zanita. I didn't have any idea you was beckoning to me. Yes.
Do you know Tommy Gillis?
Well,
Tommy, this is Anita. Escort the young lady home.
only excepting I'm not going home. I have to go to the library. Yes.
Then escort the young lady home by the way of the library. By the way of the candy kitchen.
Do I have to?
You have to.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Professor, you're a pretty bright young fellow. You made a couple mistakes, though.
Oh?
The mayor happens to own the billiard parlor and that new pool table.
What was my other mistake?
That's Anita. She's the mayor's oldest girl.
Just a minute. Professor Hill, for the school board, we'd like to see your credentials.
Academic certificates.
Nothing of the kind.
We need letters and papers.
Make him put up a bond.
Wait, what am I hearing? You. Say. Ice cream.
Ice cream, but I don't sing, young man.
All
That's
right.
what you're-
Talk then. Down here.
Ice cream.
Talk slow.
Ice cream.
See? Singing is only sustained talking. Now you.
Ice cream.
Now you. Ice cream. Now you, sir.
Ice cream.
Ladies, from now on, you'll never see one of these men without the other three.
Why, Professor, you're wrong. They've hated each other over 15 years.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream.
How can there be any sin
insincere? Where is the good in goodbye, in goodbye? Your apprehensions confuse me, dear, puzzle and mystify, tell me what can be fair in farewell, dear, while one single star shines above. How can there be any sin insincere? Aren't we sincerely in love? Oh, we're in love.
I don't suppose you live alone or anything.
No,
I've got some wonderful caramels over at the hotel if you...
Mr. Hill.
Professor Hill?
Professor of what? At what college do they give a degree for annoying women on the street like a Saturday night rowdy at a public dance hall?
I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself. Gary, Indiana, gold medal class of '05.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? Well, another thing, Mr. Hill. I'm not as easily hoodwinked or mesmerized as some people in this town, and I think it only fair to warn you that I have a shelf full of reference books in there which may very well give me some interesting information about you.
Hey, Gregory.
Oh, hi, Marcellus. Don't call me Greg.
How'd you make out with the music teacher?
Scrumptious. Ate out of my hand the minute I tipped my hat.
She did, boy. You sure cut a swath tonight. For a minute, even, I thought you knew something about leading a band. Just like when you imitate that band concert fellow back in Joplin.
Oh, yeah. Kid stuff. I'm in rare form these days, son. Just keep your eyes on me for the next 4 weeks.
4 weeks? It only used to take 10 days for the instruments to arrive.
It still does, but it takes 4 weeks for the uniforms.
Oh no, Greg, you haven't added uniforms.
Uniforms and instruction books.
Instruction books? You can't pass yourself off as a music professor. Not for any 4 weeks.
Mars.
Well, you don't know one note from another.
I have a revolutionary new method called the think system, where you don't bother with notes.
But in 4 weeks, the people want to hear music. You'll have to lead a band.
But when the uniforms arrive, they forget everything else. At least long enough for me to collect and leave. Oh, this is a refined operation, son. I've got it timed right down to the last wave of the brakeman's hand on the last train out of town. Now, Mr. Washburn, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, Professor Hill, we're all agog, simply agog.
On the Kivy.
Everyone's
so excited about the band.
I'm Ethel Toffemeyer, the pianola girl.
And this is Mrs. Squires and Mrs. Hicks. And of course, you can't forget Eulalie McKechnie Shin, our mayor's wife. Isn't it exciting, Eulalie?
Oh, I couldn't say. Oh no, I could not say. My husband will wish to investigate, I'm sure. And naturally, I'm reticent. Oh yes, I'm reticent.
Of course, Mrs. Shin, I understand, but you see, part of my music plans include a committee on the dance, and... No, wait, do that again, Mrs. Shin, the way you raised your foot just now.
Oh, well, I have a bunion there that bothers.
What grace, what natural flow of rhythm, what expression of line and movement.
Mr. Hill!
You must accept the chairmanship on the Ladies' Classic Auxiliary for Dance. Mustn't she, ladies?
Oh, yes.
Every move you make bespeaks Delsart. Will you? Please say yes, Mrs. Shin.
Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Dancing, that is.
Then you accept.
Yes, and I would like to say...
Thank you. Now, the lady who plays the piano, Marian, I believe?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, cheep, cheep. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 cheep.
Professor, her kind of woman doesn't belong on any committee. Of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but she advocates dirty books.
Dirty books?
Chaucer, Rabelais,
Balzac.
And the worst thing, of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but
I'll tell. The man lived on my street, let me tell.
Stop. I'll tell. She made brazen overtures to a man who never had a friend in this town till she came here. Old Miser Madison.
Miser Madison. Madison Gymnasium. Madison Picnic Park. Madison Hospital. That Miser Madison?
exactly. Who do you think he was anyways?
Well, I should say. Show off. Gave the town the library too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
She was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes. That woman made brazen overtures with a gilt-edged guarantee. She had a golden glint in her eyes and a silver voice with a counterfeit ring. Just melt her down and you'd reveal a lump of lead as cold as steel here, where a woman's heart should be.
He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her.
Chaucer,
Rabelais,
Balzac.
Just a minute here, Professor Hill. We need your credentials.
Yes, I've just what you want. My hotel room. Good night, ladies.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. We're going to leave you now.
It's all right. I know everything, and it doesn't make any difference.
What are you talking about?
You were probably very young. Anyone can make a mistake.
What?
No explanations, no questions, please. I will only be in town a short while.
Will you please make your selection and leave?
I have.
Well, what do you want to take out?
The Librarian.
Quiet, please.
The Librarian. You're not listening, Marian. Look. Marian. Marbles. 6 Steelies, 8 Aggies, a dozen Pee-wees, and 1 big glassy with an American flag in the middle. I think I'll drop them.
No!
Shh. Madam Librarian. What can I do, my dear, to catch your ear? I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, heaven help us if the library caught on fire and the volunteer host brigademan had to whisper the news to Marian. Madam Librarian. What can I say, my dear, to make it clear? I need you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marian, if I stumbled and I busted my whatchamacallit, I could lie on your floor unnoticed till my body had turned to carrion. Madam Librarian. Now in the moonlight, a man could sing it. In the moonlight, and a fellow would know that his darling had heard every word of his song with the moonlight helping along. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I could never win, for the civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin any talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marian. Madam Librarian. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I could never win, for the civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin any talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marian. The ladies' dance committee meets Tuesday nights. Madam Librarian. Marshmallow. Well, Tommy, we've had a pretty good morning. 11 sales out of 12 tries. Tell you what, it's almost noon. You better go home and get some dinner. I'll try a couple by myself.
Goodbye, Professor.
Thanks, Tommy.
Just a minute here. Are you soliciting? You haven't got a license.
Why no, Marian. I collect doorbells, and this particular specimen has an unusual tone quality that...
Flattery will not avail you. Soliciting is statutory in this county, malfeasance without a permit. Why haven't you been down to City Hall with your references?
Just missed you. Marian, your hand. Oh, no.
What? What?
That spread of the little finger. It's hereditary.
Oh, it is? What does that mean?
It means that your son's little finger is perfectly situated to operate the spit valve on a B-flat flugelhorn.
Is that good?
Good? It means that America has at last produced an artist who can flugel the Minute Waltz in 50 seconds.
How could I get one of those horns?
Sign here, Mr. Mayor. That'll be $17, import fee.
Yes, sir. Just think I could have missed this whole... I haven't got any son! You unscrupulous by-night! You unscrupulous! You be down to City Hall with your by-gosh papers at 3 o'clock.
You mean this afternoon?
I couldn't make myself any plainer if I was a Quaker on his day off.
Mrs. Peru, do you realize you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
Well, I'm not sure I understand you entirely, Professor.
If your boy has that same firm chin and those splendid cheek muscles, by George, not that he could be really great or anything, you understand.
Oh, is that so? And in the name of St. Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all of the really great cornet players were Irish. O'Clark, O'Mendez, O'Klein.
But, Professor, we are Irish.
No, really? That clenches it. Sign here, Mrs. Peru. Your boy was born to play the cornet. That'll be $7 earnest money. Nothing more due till the first installment payable at opening of band practice. Thank you. And of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his band uniform.
His uniform?
Hello, son. Certainly his uniform. And there won't be a penny due till delivery, which gives him 4 weeks to enjoy, to anticipate, and to imagine at no cost whatever. Never allow the demands of tomorrow to interfere with the pleasures and excitements of today.
Would it have
A stripe? Certainly, my boy. A wide red stripe on each side. What do you think of that?
You'll have to excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can't get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. And if you could get him to play in the band, you'll have St. Michael's own way with you. But I'll bet if anybody can do it, you can. Out of a crowd, I'll pick you for a hod carrying, clay pipe smoking, harp playing, shamrock wearing, Malvernine pinching, terrace hall minstrel singing Irishman, be gob be jabbers. Where are you from, me boy?
Gary, Indiana.
Oh, I knew it. Here. Where did you say?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Why, yes. Gold medal class of '05. How to do, Miss Peru?
How to do, Mr. Hill?
Of course. Peru. I thought the name sounded familiar. I tried to see you the other night.
He wants to put Winthrop in the band.
We're not interested, Mama.
But Marian, the boy might have his father's musical gift. He does have me jaw, you know.
Oh, your husband musical? I'd like to have a talk with him. I'm sure we can.
Do you burst in on everyone's homes like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested.
Marian!
Well, that's 1 for and 1 against. Now, why not let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
Oh, I'm sorry. But that's all the more reason why your brother should have something like this.
My brother is a 10-year-old problem child who can't understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? He's been brooding about it for 2 years. As to your musical tricks, why don't you go into business with some nice carnival man who sells gold-painted watches and glass diamond rings?
Musical tricks? Now, Miss Peru, I hardly think that's fair. I get the feeling she likes the idea. Oh, a little cautious perhaps, but I admire that in a woman. Just keep me alive and I'll be back later in the week.
One moment, Professor. About the boy's measurements. I make all his clothes. Sleeve 21, waist 18, crouch 14.
Fine, that's all I need. Now I really must get back to the hotel.
You'll have to excuse Marian. She's not really...
Oh, please, don't worry about a thing. I'm sure that at heart, she's as lovely as yourself. Good day to you, Peru.
Has he gone?
He has, and though I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think of your future? Gary Conservatory class of '05. Now, darling.
Now, Mama, surely a girl's future doesn't depend on encouraging every fast-talking, self-centered, woman-chasing traveling man who comes to town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. Although it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Mama. Winthrop? Winthrop, I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb for the book I've set aside. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a large brown volume with black corners.
We'll have to?
You won't have to talk to anyone. I've written it all down. Thank you, dear.
Now, what are you up to? Why do you need all those books at this hour of the night?
I have a feeling the Indiana Journal may help me poke some large holes in the professor's claims.
Well, I give up. At your age, if you don't mind my asking, what kind of white knight do you expect to come riding along?
Well, I'm not waiting for Luther Greiner, who backs me into the ancient history shelf every time he comes to the library.
He does?
Or Ed Gamage with that buggy of his with removable back seat. But I'm not waiting for a man in shining white armor either. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, what my heart would say if it only knew how. Please, dear Venus, show me now. All I want is a plain man. All I want is a modest man, a quiet man, a gentleman, a straightforward and honest man to sit with me in a cottage somewhere in the state of Iowa, and I would like him to be more interested in me than he is in himself, and more interested in us than in me. And if occasionally he'd ponder what makes Shakespeare and Beethoven great, him I could love till I die. Him I could love till I die. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to
Rhoda. Hey, Zaynita.
Tommy, Pop and Mom are sitting right there in the bank. Eat gats.
All right, then meet me after supper.
I can't. It's Epworth League night. Meet you where?
The footbridge.
You see, isn't that just what I was saying? First the lumberyard and now the footbridge. And where will you meet me after that? In the black hole of Calcutta, eat gats.
I only wanted to show you my invention.
What invention?
It's my music holder for marching piccolo player. See, it still has a couple of minor flaws. Like, when you hold it steady enough to keep the music straight, it cuts off circulation, and you can't really move your fingers. But meanwhile, you could go blind.
Tommy, it's Papa.
Is that the first thing I said or not?
Yes, George.
Yes, the very first thing I said. We're all ate hay with the horse. Get that spellbinder's credentials, I said, morning of July 4th, 1912. And now look, my wife is off dancing at any and all hours instead of in the home.
But George...
The school board is singing up street and down alley instead of tending the city matters. My oldest girl is boodling around with some wild kid, and my business has fallen off so far, I can't even find the balance sheet.
Mayor Shin, I found something very interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater,
Is who?
his university.
I know all about that. In fact, that's all I can ever get out of him. Cary Conservatory, class of '05.
I think if you'll just take a little bit of time to read about the conservatory, you won't have to look much further. It's on page...
Papa, the Wells Fargo wagon's just coming up from the depot.
Wells Fargo wagon?
A likely story. This hour of the day, nonsense. The Wells Fargo wagon. The band instruments.
Coming down the street, oh please let it be for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I wish I knew what it could be.
Maple sugar on my birthday.
In March I got a great Mackinac.
And once I got some grapefruit from Tampa.
Montgomery Ward sent me a bathtub and a cross-cut saw.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. A prepaid surprise or COD.
It could be curtains
Or dishes.
or a double boiler.
Or it could be
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. It surely could be
something special
something very, very special now.
just for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Oh, don't let it pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I wish I knew what it was coming for.
I got some salmon from Seattle last September. And I expect a new rocking chair.
I hope I get my raisins from Fresno.
The DARM sent a cannon for the courthouse square.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming now. I don't know how I can ever wait to see. It could be something for someone who is no relation, but it could be something special just for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon, don't you dare to make a stop until you stop for me.
It's a band instrument.
Here you are, Winthrop.
My cornet. Gee, thanks, Professor.
Men, you will each receive individual instruction in due course. In the meantime, get acquainted with your instruments, stay off the streets, and be thinking about the minuet in G. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da.
La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. Oh,
Oh, Thither, it is the most scrumptious doggo thing you ever saw. I never thought I'd seen anything so scrumptious as this scrumptious doggo thing. Oh, Thither.
Round one for you, Mr. Hill, but I better hear some by gosh tune down them horns in pretty short order, or I'll see you in front of the grand jury over at the county seat. Now, Miss Marian, how about that book?
Come, George. Tempest fugit.
You watch your phraseology. Get along if you want to. I've got to get something from the librarian. How about that book?
The Ladies' Dance Committee meets Tuesday nights at the high school.